Welcome to the BIBSTER'S Repair Shop. 200 subscribers. What is that? Thanks. I don't know. I was sitting out here on a Friday night, not getting much done because, well, wait, I had the oil pan back today. It's all welded up. I gotta get that painted up, and I didn't have any. I had international paint, or well, red, but I didn't have any primer, and so I want to primer it first, kind of clean that up. So it's gonna be like 50-some degrees tomorrow, so I thought I'd work on that tomorrow. This light's super bright above my head. Anyway, but I noticed that today, well, actually I put a pretty selfish plug out on Facebook to try and get to that last number, but I hit 200, and it's been a lot of fun, so I thought I would just kind of say thank you to everyone that's been checking the channel out. Thanks for all the awesome messages on Monday's video. Emily and I, or Mrs. Bibster, as we like to call her, are super excited about that. We'll keep you guys informed as we find out more things about the little future baby bibs. But I thought tonight, I did that, remember a couple weeks ago, maybe it was like last week. I am working on the What's the Deal With video for this week. We're going to do What's the Deal With Wide Front Ends, but that's more going to turn into a What's the Deal With why tractors look this particular way. So I'm kind of working on my monologue for that, on how far back into history I'm going to go on what made tractors look this way during that time period, like, you know, because if you look at like the early, I'm not going to get into it too much now. The other thing I'm thinking about doing is, so I'm a big fan of Doug DeMero's channel. If you guys don't watch that, check it out. Super cool. He does a lot of like high-end, he does either high-end car reviews or quirky car reviews, but what he'll basically do is he'll have a car in a parking lot and say, this is, and whatever car it is. And I've thought about doing something similar to that with tractors, where, you know, but not obviously copying it, but ripping it off exclusively. Where it would be like this, or not maybe this is, because I think that's probably not actually coin mark, but way too similar. But, you know, I'll be like, hey, we have a 44 Farmall, let's find out about it. And going through the history of the tractor, how it works, what levers do what things work, and then doing like my tractors, and then my buddies that have different brands of tractors, doing videos with them, just kind of going through and kind of making a series of all these different tractors and how they work. Because I think on Sunday I was out at Don's house and he had me drive his wife's Puller Minneapolis Moline 5-star. Never been on a Mini in my life. And so I'm sitting down there like trying to figure out like, well, I think this is how it works. But it made me think like, hey, that might be kind of a cool series and how things work, and then something that you can go back and maybe, you know, if I can find friends, you know, I haven't been around John Deere very much. I've been thinking about getting one in the shop just for that fact. So that's kind of something the future channel we're kind of thinking about. But, you know, again, let me know what you think about that. If you think that's a cool idea, or if you think that literally is just copying what Doug DeMero does with high-end cars, or that's not going to work. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of some more video stuff as, you know, I still have some wrench and stuff to do, but like tomorrow what we're probably going to do is going to be nice enough. I'm probably going to tear into the Super outside. I got to get that all cleaned up because I can't move this tractor out. I can pretend to, but it's not. There's no oil pan on it. So, well, the other thing I was going to do tonight, I was thinking about telling story time, and I have some hilarious stories over the years of things that I did out at the farm, and things why, if you ever watch King of the Hill, I was Bobby. So tonight we're going to tell the story of the time I ran a lawn tractor into my dad's truck. I was thinking I had a couple stories that we were going to do for story time, but this one, I think this one wins for tonight. So, Dad, ready, you know the story. You know the dent is. So, imagine, again, as you guys all know, I'm an 88 model. So, age 7, Kyle, and at the farm, my grandpa was the kind of guy, and I'm sure you guys all had grandpas, or maybe you're still that same way, where there was never, you know, at that time period, now it's, when a car goes bad, you just scrap it. Scrap's been pretty good price for years, and, I mean, even when it's down nowadays, it's still, I mean, it used to be terrible, and so what would you do? You just, I think every car they ever owned, they just parked it somewhere at the farm and just, you know, there it was. So as we started when I was younger, kind of cleaning some of those up, and there was a time where we had a couple, I want to say that I think there's a couple small block Chevys that we'd had from these cars, and my dad knew some dirt track racers from where he worked, and forgot why, but basically he was going to load a couple engines up, so he had little 7-year-old Kyle. So you can imagine me now and the ball of energy I can be in ridiculousness. Imagine 7-year-old Kyle running around, just a little moron, just flying around. So Dad thinks to himself, he's got a good idea. I gotta load these engines up. Now 7-year-old Kyle probably can't help me load the engines because, my little hands will get stuck in the chains and then I'll be given high 4s for life instead of high 5s. So he's got this idea. He goes, we got this my grandpa had an old garden tractor, and like all old garden tractors, the starter didn't work, and it still had a hand pull, so the hood was off. So he goes, hey, you know what? I'll have Kyle just drive around the garden tractor. It's like a go-kart. Most 7-year-olds can drive a go-kart or something. Most, not all. Let's just say that now. Most. Definitely not all. Well, so at the time, again, little 7-year-old Kyle running around. Dad goes, you're going to drive this, I'm going to have you drive the garden tractor while I do this. Now, and this is where the story changes depending on who's telling it. We're getting Kyle's opinion, or Kyle's story on this. Maybe not Dad's. So Dad had told me, now we'll also say, because it was a pull start, you usually had to start it before you did anything with it. So I believe the tractor was already running. So it was, a little single cylinder. And he had told me, what he had said was, drive up by the barn and just drive around up there, and then when you're done, when I'm done, I'll come get you. And here's where the brake is. It was one of those old, we'll get to the brake. Let's tell this brake first. What I had heard was drive up there and then come back. That's what at least I thought. I mean, I could, it was hard to hear him, and, little Kyle was excited. I was going to get to drive something, this is the same kid, and I want to say it was maybe 1st or 2nd grade, so similar around that same time, that when they had a thing where, what do you want for Christmas, little Timmy? What do you want for Christmas, little Kyle? And my answer was to have a driver's license, because I wanted to drive. There's a reason why my parents didn't actually have a go-kart for me, because I would have had more than one broken leg. We'll get to that story in a future time. Well, so that's what I hear. And at the time, my dad's truck was parked, and he had this 85 Ford, and we still actually have it. It's got a 4.6. You'll see it this summer. I'm going to do some work on it. It's been neglected. We haven't driven it for probably 8 or 9 years on the road. I mean, it's been driven on the farm, but again, side tangent. But it was my dad's pride and joy because, again, it was an 85. It was only like a 10-year-old truck at that time, I mean, my truck I drive now is 20 years old. I drive a 99 F250. So it's, it was a new truck for him. It was a newer truck for him to have, and, he had really took care of it. I remember he had the rust repaired on it multiple times, and, really just, that was his pride and joy. So it was kind of parked down a hill a little bit. So little Kyle gets on the little lawn tractor, and first gear as fast as I can go, drive up, turn around by the barn, come driving back down. And again, the turn, now this is where little Kyle wasn't always thinking, but again, 7 years old, maybe not. I could have turned to the left and not turned towards his truck, but I turned to the right towards his truck. There's a little hill. Start to go down the hill. I've got the tires turned, but the thing's sliding forward. So little Kyle goes, oh yeah, Dad told me about the brake. Now, if you remember some of these older lawn tractors, and I'm sure they still make them like this way, most of them got the old Hydromatic where you just jam her forward or jam her back. It was the style where when you put the foot in halfway was the brake, or was the clutch, and then all the way was the brake. Well, little Kyle didn't have long enough legs to go all the way to the brake. So all I did was push the clutch in, so it made it go faster. And we rolled that thing right into the side of his truck, right in front of the rear tire. And of course, it's got no hood on it, so the flywheel is spinning. Stops the engine, Little Kyle crying. Dad comes out. Not thrilled is a word we could use at that time. But again, he just saw his son run right into the side of his... And again, he had said, go up there and just drive around. I'll come get you when I'm done. And I either go up there, drive around once, come on back down, and, just plow right into the side of Dad's truck. So, needless to say, so I get in the truck and just wait for Dad to load the engines because that's probably that was a better place for me at that time. And we get home, I remember, so Dad's telling Mom, hey, Kyle ran into the the truck with the garden tractor. I'm downstairs because I was already like, I felt terrible. And I hear Mom go, well, you didn't yell at him, did you? And I knew immediately I was off the hook. It was going to be fine. Now, there was a silent agreement. We never brought it up. But every time we walked by the truck, his eyes would make contact with that spot and then make eye contact with me as if to say, So we'll fast forward a few years. I'm in high school now. So again, let's say 10, it was probably about 10 years. And we had this little love seat couch thing at the house, and a cat that we had decided to use it as a litter box because that's what cats do when they're turds. And so we got rid of it. We threw it in a ditch. Same truck, same farm. And when my dad, I was in high school, so I was at school or something, and he had thrown it in the ditch, and the hill we were trying to come out was a pretty steep little hill. It's now actually, it used to be, where that hill is now is actually the guy that farms our land farms at now. I think he farms up that whole side. He might have shaped that a little bit because it used to be a little steeper. But, side tangent. Dad's got the same truck, parks it up there, gets the thing unloaded, and the truck proceeds to slip out of park, roll into the ditch, and put a giant dent where my little dent was. So at least I had redemption that I didn't put the biggest dent in his truck. But yeah, so I don't know. That's a fun story time. The time when I ran the truck, or ran a lawn tractor into the side of my dad's truck at age 7. Needless to say, I did eventually get to drive that garden tractor around. It was a couple years later. It did become my little cruising around the farm mobile. But we some reason after that chose. I was always in a field with nothing else. So I don't know why. Dad never let me get near anything else. But I feel he probably chose right. Definitely. So yeah, if you guys like those stories, let me know. If you hate them, actually don't let me know because my self-esteem is pretty low with these videos, so I'll probably just cry. But yeah, I mean seriously, let me know if you think they're dumb. I got some other ones that are funny, like farm stories and stuff to kind of fill in the fun while we're in between projects or waiting for. Like I said, I'm waiting on the parts for this because I got those also with this. I got those dipsticks. I got one for my tractor and this tractor, but I think I might have to. It says you just unscrew the plug on the top, but I don't know exactly how it's going to work, so we're going to play around with that. I don't know. I've always wanted one, so I figure when I sell this, it's going to be a lot easier to sell the guy. Like, hey, I put that $40 little thing on there. Maybe it'll give me the money back, or maybe I'll make the money back on that. Maybe the guy will laugh at me and say I'm an idiot. Probably say I'm an idiot. But, yeah, so that's the updates. Again, thanks everyone for checking out the channel, liking and subscribing. It's been a lot of fun since I started doing this. I wasn't sure if anyone wanted to actually watch it. It seems like it's been a lot of fun. If you want to share the video, maybe not this one, I don't know, or maybe this one. This is probably pretty easy. Anyway, if you want to share the video, feel free to do that. That'd be awesome. Let's see. I think that's it. Yeah. We'll call that good. So have a great Friday night. We'll see you Saturday. We'll definitely put a video out tomorrow because it's going to be beautiful and glorious, and I'll probably be working out in the garage. I do feel weird when I'm outside working and talking to a camera because I feel like my neighbors are going to judge me. But then I also realize they can probably hear me when I'm in here. So, anyway, y'all have a good one. We'll see you on the next one. Like and subscribe. You know what to do. Bye.